Wagwan people, how's it going? So I'm going to have a little chat about something that I know personally, which is something that a lot of parents with special needs, what they go through to get a diagnosis. Do you know how difficult it is to get your child diagnosed nowadays? See, when I was growing up, like, if a child had ADHD, even autism, they were classed as just being a naughty child. And so, like, nowadays, like, when your child is, you know, I'm not going to say different, because you're not different when you've got them things. You're unique, yeah? You're wired differently. That's how I see it, yeah? But it's all about, with autism, it's finding something that you enjoy. And once you get into that, then that's it. You're locked in, yeah? But it's so difficult to get a diagnosis. So a lot of kids end up going to like a normal school with autism and ADHD when they should actually be going to a special school, but it takes years to get that diagnosis. Even like as a parent with a child who had autism, I knew from a very, very early age with my son that he was unique. He was you know, he was different to all the other children around him. I was blessed because I had social services on my side and they helped me get the diagnosis. But I know parents that it's taken them years to get this, and when they have got it, they haven't even got a full diagnosis yet. They've still got to wait for the doctors to hear from this, or the school to hear from this, or etc, etc. And deep down, when you know your child has got autism, ADHD, ASD, ADD, whatever it is, yeah, whatever. There's all different ones. Global development delay, or whatever it's called, yeah. You kind of wish, you can't, well, not wish, but you kind of hope that your child doesn't have that, yeah. And when you get told by a doctor that they do, it is heartbreaking, because you suddenly, your whole world flips upside down, and then you suddenly become more protective over them. And it's not easy having a child with these, disabilities, or should you call it? Well, you shouldn't. It's not a disability. You know, they're just a lot. They're just unique. They're just like I said, they're wired differently. They don't understand certain things. They don't have the fear like that most people do. And it's scary, and that's where us parents get worried, because they can run out onto a road not realising that it's dangerous. They're just doing what they think is normal. And then you see these kids that have got these problems get easily led. And, you know, they say that, like, children with ADHD will more likely get into addiction, which is one of the reasons why I think I have ADHD. But I don't want to put a label on myself, because at the end of the day, I decided to get into what I got into, yeah. But you know, a lot of these young adults with these conditions, they get easily led into a bad lifestyle, and it's really bad. It's worrying for us parents, because we're then sat there like, what if they make friends with the wrong person, and then that person then manipulates them into taking this and taking that. And it can absolutely, you know, it can completely destroy a child with ADHD and stuff. A lot of people with ADHD, they think that smoking cannabis helps. I don't think it does, because in the long run, it actually affects your mental health. It makes you, eventually, you can become very paranoid. You can become very anxious. I've spoken to people that never had anxiety, but then once they went through a traumatic experience, then all of a sudden they got the anxiety, and they said that then all of a sudden they're smoking weed and it's not helping them. So it is a very, very touchy subject. I know there's people out there that might watch this and be like, no, it helps me. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. we're all built differently. But back to what I was saying, so it's really difficult to get a child a diagnosis nowadays. It takes years. So that child could be stuck in a school for 2 to 3 years in the wrong school, not learning nothing, because this government, this system is not allowing them to, because they're not helping. Some children slip through the net, and then that parent has then got to fight to get a diagnosis. And by the time they get one, their son or their daughter's like 8, 9 years old, and they've already been in a mainstream school for long enough, getting bullied and living hell, an absolute living hell. I was blessed. My son goes to a special school, and he's getting the support he needs. But there's many, many children out there that don't get that. So things need to change drastically, because there are more children out there now with these conditions. Didn't seem to be like this when I was younger, or although maybe it was like this, but like I said, we were just being labelled as naughty children. You know, I was quite naughty when I was younger, I'm not going to lie. I had my issues. I had learning difficulties, dyslexia. I couldn't read and write very well, but I've got a lot better. Like, I found as I got older, I started reading books. And then once I found a book that I liked, so like I started getting into like gangster books, all of a sudden I couldn't stop reading them. I was reading about Carlton Leach, Lenny McLean, Roy Shaw, the Richardson Gang. You know, I got really into it, which has led me into my thing of loving these gangsters, which is why, for me, meeting Ray Hill was an absolute honour, an absolute pleasure, because I met this bloke that had actually met some of these people, that had actually worked with some of these people. You know, when I went to his house and he was telling me like, oh yeah, I was on the phone to this guy the other day. I'm not mentioning names, but it was a guy that used to work for like the Crazies, and I was just sat there like, oh my God. And while I was round there, he was on the phone to Jimmy Tippett, Junior, not Senior, obviously he passed away many years ago, R.I.P. Jimmy Tippett Senior. And yeah, so, you know, I kind of built that up myself for the reading part. Because like reading's never been. I always seem to, because of dyslexic, I miss words out when I'm reading, or sometimes I even add words in that aren't actually there. So yeah, we live in a society now where kids are being missed out, and it's taken too long for these kids to be diagnosed, and it's very sad. It's a very, very sad situation for parents that have got to sit there and watch their children suffer. But it's also very sad once you get that diagnosis. It hits you like a ton of bricks. It really does. But anyway, people, I just had to say that, get that out. I'm just uploading a new podcast now. I might get shot for this new podcast, though. Yeah, I think I am going to get shot. I'm going to get chased out with pitchforks from my house by tomorrow. But anyway, love, people. I've gone well over 100k now. I'm like on 100, yeah, I'm on like fucking 100, 1 something, or I don't know, I can't remember now. It's just going up and up. I'm getting over 1,000 views a day now, which is like mental, because like I only started this 9 months ago and it's going up well fast. But there you go. Anyway, people, have a blessed night, have a peaceful night. Love to all my supporters, love to all my friends, love to all my family, and I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, you take care.